For generations, there have been skinwalker rumors at the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon and its deep connection to Native American mythology, particularly the legend of skinwalkers, represents one of the most intriguing intersections of natural wonder and supernatural folklore in North American culture. This massive geological formation, with its labyrinthine canyons and remote locations, has served as the backdrop for countless tales of mysterious encounters and unexplained phenomena. The convergence of ancient beliefs and modern interpretations has created a rich tapestry of stories that continue to captivate visitors and storytellers alike. Carved by the Colorado River over millions of years, the Grand Canyon stretches 277 miles long, up to 18 miles wide, and reaches depths of over 6,000 feet. Its colorful rock layers reveal billions of years of geological history, with some of the exposed rock at the canyon bottom dating back nearly 2 billion years. The canyon's vast wilderness, with its numerous side canyons, caves, and remote plateaus, creates an environment of isolation and mystery that has contributed to its supernatural reputation. The Grand Canyon's status as a national park began in 1919, though its significance to Native American tribes extends back thousands of years. Before becoming a tourist destination, the area was home to numerous indigenous peoples, including the ancestral Puebloans, Havasupai, Hopi, and Navajo. These tribes considered the canyon not just a physical landmark, but a sacred space imbued with spiritual significance. Their presence and cultural practices laid the foundation for many of the supernatural stories associated with the area. In Native American tradition, particularly Navajo culture, skinwalkers or Ye Naudlushi are powerful medicine men who have corrupted their spiritual powers for malevolent purposes. These beings are believed to have the ability to transform into various animals, most commonly wolves, coyotes, or birds. According to traditional beliefs, skinwalkers gain their powers through terrible acts and use their abilities to bring harm to others, making them one of the most feared creatures in Native American mythology. The Grand Canyon's vast wilderness has become particularly associated with skinwalker encounters, with numerous reports spanning decades. The canyon's remote locations, mysterious caves, and unexplored areas provide the perfect setting for such tales. Visitors and local residents have reported strange animal behavior, unexplained noises, and shadowy figures that seem to disappear into the landscape. These accounts often describe encounters in the more isolated regions of the park, particularly during twilight hours or at night. Deep within the Grand Canyon, particularly in its more remote regions, numerous accounts of alleged skinwalker encounters have emerged over the years. One frequently recounted story involves a group of hikers on the remote Thunder River Trail in the late 1990s. They reported observing a figure that appeared human but moved in an unnaturally fluid manner, scaling sheer cliff faces with impossible speed. When they tried to photograph the figure, their cameras reportedly malfunctioned, and they experienced an overwhelming sense of dread that forced them to leave the area. Park rangers have shared unofficial accounts of strange incidents, including one from the North Rim in the early 2000s. A ranger described finding unusual tracks that seemed to transform from human footprints to those of a large canine mid-stride. The tracks led to a cave entrance but vanished completely inside. The ranger noted that local wildlife exhibited unusual behavior in that area, with normally nocturnal animals appearing during daylight hours and showing signs of distress. The Havasupai Falls area, though beautiful and frequently visited, has generated its share of unsettling tales. Multiple visitors have reported encounters with what appeared to be a coyote walking on its hind legs. These sightings typically occur during twilight hours, with witnesses describing the creature as having unnaturally long limbs and the ability to keep pace with vehicles along the rim roads. Desert View Watchtower area visitors have reported instances of hearing their names called by familiar voices when alone, a common element in skinwalker lore. In one account from 2015, a tourist described hearing their deceased grandmother's voice calling from behind the tower at sunset. Upon investigation, they found only tracks that appeared to belong to a large bird, despite the soft soil that should have shown human footprints. Backpackers in the more isolated areas of the canyon, particularly along the Tonto platform, have shared stories of being stalked by something that mimicked their movements and voices. One detailed account from 2018 describes how two experienced hikers abandoned their multi-day trek after repeatedly finding their previous campsite arrangements perfectly replicated at new locations, despite being miles away from their original spots. A particularly unsettling narrative emerged from the Little Colorado River confluence area, where river guides reported encounters with what appeared to be a fellow guide who would appear on impossible-to-reach ledges. When radioed, the real guide would confirm being miles away. These sightings often coincided with unusual weather patterns and inexplicable equipment malfunctions. However, it's important to note that many traditional Native American communities near the Grand Canyon view these stories with concern, as they believe that sharing specific details about Skinwalker encounters can attract unwanted attention from these entities. Many of the most compelling accounts remain unshared due to these cultural beliefs and restrictions. Some modern accounts blend with the park's documented disappearances and mysterious incidents, though park officials maintain that most of these cases have conventional explanations. The vast size and remote nature of the Grand Canyon creates an environment where unusual occurrences can seem more mysterious than they might in other settings. The intersection of traditional Skinwalker lore with modern Grand Canyon visitors has created a unique subset of contemporary folklore. While many of these stories can be attributed to the canyon's challenging environment, wildlife encounters, and the human tendency to seek patterns in unusual experiences, they continue to contribute to the rich tapestry of supernatural beliefs associated with this natural wonder. These accounts, whether viewed as genuine encounters or modern folklore, reflect the continuing influence of Native American spiritual beliefs on our understanding of the Grand Canyon's more mysterious aspects. The stories serve as a reminder of the canyon's significance beyond its geological wonders, incorporating elements of both ancient beliefs and contemporary experiences. The evolution of Skinwalker mythology has shifted significantly over time, adapting to modern contexts while retaining its core elements. What began as a strictly traditional Native American belief has transformed into a broader supernatural phenomenon that captures the public imagination. The legend has expanded beyond its original cultural boundaries, though many Native Americans express concern about the commercialization and misrepresentation of their sacred beliefs. The secrecy surrounding Skinwalkers is deeply rooted in Native American traditions, particularly within Navajo culture, where discussing these entities openly is often considered taboo and potentially dangerous. Traditional beliefs hold that merely speaking about Skinwalkers might attract their attention, leading many tribal members to avoid the subject entirely, especially with outsiders. This cultural prohibition has created a significant barrier to documenting and understanding these beliefs in detail. Within Navajo communities, knowledge about Skinwalkers is typically shared only among trusted family members and spiritual leaders. The specific rituals, practices, and identities of suspected Skinwalkers are closely guarded secrets, as this information is believed to be both sacred and dangerous. Traditional teachings suggest that Skinwalkers often live as ordinary members of the community during the day, making the fear of their presence particularly potent within tight-knit tribal communities. Even in contemporary times, many Native Americans maintain this code of silence. When incidents involving suspected Skinwalker activity occur, they are often discussed only in hushed tones and private settings. The few documented accounts that exist typically come from individuals who have broken with tradition, or from non-native sources who may not fully understand the cultural significance and sensitivity of the information they're sharing. This veil of secrecy has only served to intensify the mystique and intrigue surrounding Skinwalker legends, particularly in areas like the Grand Canyon where traditional beliefs intersect with modern curiosity. The protective secrecy extends to specific locations associated with Skinwalker activity. Sacred sites, certain canyons, and specific geographic features that might be connected to Skinwalker encounters are often kept confidential by tribal members. This is particularly true in the Grand Canyon region, where numerous remote locations are considered spiritually significant and potentially dangerous. The reluctance to share this information serves both to protect sacred spaces and to prevent unwanted attention from outsiders seeking supernatural encounters. This culture of secrecy has created an interesting paradox in modern times, where the less that is definitively known about Skinwalkers, the more fascination they generate in popular culture. While countless books, shows, and online discussions claim to reveal true Skinwalker information, most tribal elders maintain that authentic knowledge remains protected within their communities. This dynamic has led to a complex relationship between traditional knowledge holders and those seeking to understand or document these phenomena, furthering the mystique that surrounds these legendary beings. Popular culture has embraced the Skinwalker legend, particularly in recent years, with numerous books, television shows, and online content exploring these supernatural beings. The Grand Canyon's Skinwalker tales have become a significant part of paranormal tourism, drawing investigators and thrill-seekers to the area. Social media and online forums have further spread these stories, creating new urban legends and modern interpretations of the ancient beliefs. Modern interpretations of Skinwalker legends have evolved significantly through various media channels and contemporary storytelling platforms. Social media platforms like TikTok and Reddit have become particularly active spaces for sharing alleged Skinwalker encounters, often featuring dashcam footage, night vision recordings, or first-person accounts from travelers and hikers. These modern retellings frequently blend traditional elements with contemporary settings and technology. The popular Skinwalker Ranch in Utah has become a focal point of modern Skinwalker lore, despite being geographically and culturally distinct from traditional Navajo Skinwalker stories. This interpretation combines Skinwalker legends with UFO phenomena, government conspiracies, and paranormal activity, creating a hybrid mythology that appeals to modern audiences. The History Channel's Secret of Skinwalker Ranch series exemplifies this contemporary adaptation, mixing traditional folklore with scientific investigation. Horror cinema and literature have reimagined skinwalkers for modern audiences, often departing significantly from traditional Native American representations. Movies like Skinwalkers, 2006, Dark Wind, 1991, and various independent films present modernized versions of the legend. Video games such as Until Dawn and Fallout New Vegas have incorporated Skinwalker-inspired creatures, further transforming the original mythology to fit contemporary entertainment formats. Recent true crime podcasts and documentary series have begun incorporating Skinwalker legends into their narratives, particularly when covering unsolved disappearances or mysterious events in the American Southwest. These interpretations often frame Skinwalker activity within the context of real-world investigations, creating a bridge between traditional folklore and modern mystery-solving methodologies. Creepypasta and online horror communities have developed their own Skinwalker mythology, often emphasizing the creature's shape-shifting abilities and adding new elements such as technological interference, specific hunting patterns, or modern urban settings. These stories frequently incorporate contemporary fears and anxieties, such as surveillance technology, identity theft, and isolation in the digital age. However, these modern adaptations have drawn criticism from Native American communities, who often view such reinterpretations as cultural appropriation that misrepresents and trivializes sacred beliefs. The commercialization of Skinwalker legends through merchandise, entertainment, and tourism represents a significant departure from the reverence and fear with which these beings are traditionally regarded in Native American culture. Social media communities dedicated to wilderness exploration and hiking have developed their own Skinwalker-related safety guidelines and warning signs, creating a modern folklore that blends outdoor recreation culture with traditional supernatural beliefs. These often include rules for avoiding skinwalkers that mix traditional beliefs with modern camping and hiking practices. Some contemporary environmental and wildlife conservation movements have begun interpreting Skinwalker legends as metaphors for humanity's relationship with nature and the consequences of disrespecting natural spaces. This ecological interpretation frames ancient Skinwalker warnings as prescient messages about environmental stewardship and respect for wilderness areas. Urban fantasy authors have incorporated skinwalkers into modern supernatural fiction, often placing them alongside vampires, werewolves, and other popular supernatural beings. These interpretations typically present skinwalkers as one species among many in a hidden supernatural world, existing alongside modern human society. The evolution of Skinwalker legends in modern media demonstrates how traditional folklore adapts to contemporary storytelling methods and cultural concerns. While these new interpretations often diverge significantly from their traditional origins, they maintain the core elements of transformation, danger, and the mysterious relationship between humans and the natural world that made the original legends so compelling. The intersection of the Grand Canyon's natural majesty and the enduring legend of skinwalkers demonstrates how landscapes can shape and preserve supernatural beliefs across generations. While the scientific community regards these tales as folklore, the stories continue to evolve and captivate new audiences, adding another layer of mystique to one of America's most iconic natural wonders. The persistence of these legends reminds us that even in our modern technological world, there remains a deep human desire to find mystery and meaning in the natural world around us.